Hello everyone. I've been gone for a while. Different activities have been coming up in my life, including moving and a remodel project, which will actually allow me to do more video work in the future. So I'm excited about that, but it's been taking a lot of my energy. And mind space. And so I was finding space to come on and to start again or do a little bit more. I don't know whether that will be consistent at this time, but hopefully by April I will be able to be more consistent in my offerings. But as many probably have on their minds of late are disruptions in our way of life coming from our government here in the US. And it brings up for me the ways that we can or cannot create stability in their lives, the ways that we might feel lacking no matter what our income, and just the way that we can be in our world and be able to move with the changes that come. And as I thought about that, I came up with just some basic things that I thought should be included in this. And I'm going to look at my note here. So some factors are your energy level. And so as I was coming on today, I was talking about my energy level has not been such that I've been able to create videos. And so to be in the world and to be productive, you have to have a good amount of energy to put forth. Which might be dependent on things like the food that you eat or the exercise that you do, or the body that you came into this world with that has capabilities of its own that are different from everybody else. So I touched on energy, but also ability. So number one, I have energy level, and then our ability to do something in the world. Third one is our passion. What can we be passionate about, and how can we be supported in the passions that we might develop based on our energy level and our abilities. Fourth one is community. And then how can we bring forth both those energy levels, ability, and passion into our community to share that and to have exchanges with each other which feel good and appropriate versus imbalanced and inappropriate. And finally, change. Change and impermanence is a constant. We like to have stability overall, I think, but things always change. And I think we always want them to change, because to have them to be stagnant all the time would just get boring. But hopefully we can incorporate change into our lives such that they are not erratic changes, such that we notice the change that is happening or that we want to occur, and then be able to incorporate that into the existing systems. And that seems to not necessarily be happening at this time. And I think there are some reasons for that just in our age of being, and which have to do with needing to make some dramatic changes or wanting some dramatic changes with the way that things have been. So I guess what I'm hoping to communicate at this time is maybe these are some factors that can be looked at as we consider change going forward in our world. I don't know that we can really expect that it can be smooth at this time, but maybe where we're moving to is a place that has smoother edges rather than ragged edges, that has more congruity than disparity. And so I guess I just hope to bring up this topic and to see what might come out. And so this time I'm starting just with this discussion, and I did pull some cards and was attracted to the Shiva Lingam that I have here. It's quite a big stone. When I hold it, I always think about balance and grounding. And it just feels very nice around my heart center and up at my third eye and above my crown. Can really feel the soothing energy of the weight of the stone and the energy of the stone, which is said to provide intuition, balance, expansion of consciousness, and is related to sexuality. But it's a balancing stone for all of the chakras, which is probably why it has that soothing sense in picking it up. But I think it also exemplifies the things that I was bringing up earlier and wanting to have a change that shifts in a smoother rather than ragged way. I drew a card of a deck that has different places in it, and this one was the Tarkan, I think is how they pronounce it. And it says, "Growth is good, but I acknowledge it can sometimes be painful. I accept my own wild soul. I can be alone and connected." So this seems to really be bringing up that disparity of how growth is sometimes has that ragged edge and can be painful. And I think that has to do with the fact that we expect it to remain the same and smooth, and don't allow for things that might change in our world, and not really having the awareness that things are changing in our world in a subtle way. So I think that this card acknowledges that. I also like that it's the Tarkan, sorry, I don't remember how it's pronounced, is a I want to say wetlands, but that's not the right word. It's a wild area that's very wet and wild. It's a place that's can be relatively untouched, and it's a place where you can find peace, and yet there are other activities going on, such as mining and logging and stuff. This area has a minimal logging, but apparently lots of mining going on. Why can't I remember that name of this area? Anyway, this seems to exemplify that disparity between a desire for peace and a factual evidence that there are disruptions going on at the same time. I also drew 3 of Swords and a heart, which is exemplified by something painful to the heart. And so again, it's again pointing out sometimes painful things happening. But also with change, there is a place to be able to dream that pigs might fly. Even though we never imagined that pigs might fly, maybe they can. Or maybe something can change in the world that we never imagined that could change. Maybe things will work better than they have before, even though we don't really think so in the beginning. And then the 3 of Pentacles in this card seems to exemplify community, where we're all working together to try to create something. And I want to check in at this point to see how these cards might fit in with the things that I've listed on my notes up here, which include energy level. So energy level, when you're in pain, your energy level typically will probably drop, and you're not able to do things like you might normally. But when you dream, that energy can be uplifted by the creativity created by dreaming. And then when you're in community, again, your energy is uplifted typically by other people, although it can also be overwhelmed, for me, by too many people in my life at the same time. If we go to ability, it's pretty easy to, in our current world, to be put in a heartbroken state. We may or may not have developed our creativity. We may feel too closed in the box to even think that we have creativity. And some are more gifted in that areas than others. As we go into community, there will be different abilities that lend to the tapestry being created here. And those different abilities will benefit the final creation. If we go to passion, definitely we're going to feel some difficulty when our heart is broken. We're going to feel strong and uplifted if we're able to be involved in our passions in the world and bring forth the best of our abilities in the world. And if we together can create something, I just imagine the passion that we would have together. Community is kind of similar, I think, to passion, in that our passions are brought together, hopefully, and then we have a stronger community together. Can we have a community that tends to broken hearts versus leaves them behind or expects them to be worked on by ourselves? Can we create our ideas together without feeling defensive or like somebody's going to steal our ideas for their own benefit versus ours? Can we create something communally that will benefit all of us versus just one of us or just a few of us? I have the word stability as a combination of what I thought these different factors or words meant together. And the stability in this last factor that I put was change. Again, has to do with how well we can notice that things are changing or that we want them to change, and to speak up about them and be part of the community that helps the change rather than sits and waits until it's almost too late and we're too heartbroken or our ideas have been too stifled or we've been ostracized from our community in different ways, that it becomes erratic rather than smooth as potential for change. So I'm going to move on to the last 3 cards that I drew. And I see this one, the 9 of Cups, as the heart bursting open in this image, with all of these bowls that could be filled up. And the treasure down below that can come of this. So maybe this is like bursting our heart out into our communities and reaping the treasures of all of us, for all of us. And then there's the star of ourselves. Maybe the star of ourselves is not just for ourselves, but that we contributed to what is happening in the community. And then we can feel like we are a star in that community. And then finally, Queen of Wands. Wands are more about our spirituality. And as she holds this light, it makes me think of the magic that we can create together. So I feel like I've repeated themes several times throughout this conversation. And then next I will probably create a video on a drawing to try to go deeper into this and see where we can maybe transition to a smoother way. Or maybe we can do something now within these rough transitions that make a smoother process. So thanks for joining me today, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye now.